Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be in this beautiful planet of ours. This is Marc Lainhart, the Intuitive Prospector, here for another Monday morning, Metaphysical Mocha Monday with your host, Marc Lainhart. I always like to say, be inspired, inspire others, inspire before we expire. So if you would be so kind to help me share out the page, my internet is being a little clunky this morning. I was going to try to share out to a few of my group pages, but I wasn't able to at this time. So, how's everybody doing this morning? Got a few people that are joining me here on a early Monday morning. I do this show every Monday morning at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And the show is a inspirational show for 30 minutes. After this show, after Metaphysical Mocha Mondays is completed, I'll be right back here on the Intuitive Prospector page. So make sure to turn on the Intuitive Prospector notifications, subscribe to my page, turn on, it's all in the description field of the video. Just if you're on a phone, touch your phone and you'll get the link to my YouTube playlist, and here if you want to subscribe to the Intuitive Prospector page, which I like to say, let's do a little spiritual prospecting for your own spiritual gold. So thank you so much for everybody that is helping me to share out the pages today. What I do for all of my spiritual prospectors that help me grow through grassroots, at the end of this month of February, everybody that's either subscribed to my YouTube playlist or helped share out the show is entered in to a free 30-minute reading. I was able to connect with last month's winner finally. She did reach out to me, and we were able to do a 30-minute reading for her, and that's just my way of giving back and helping people out. And if you like the work that I'm doing, please leave a review on the Intuitive Prospector page and give it a 5-star rating, hopefully, based on the inspirational show that I do every Monday morning. So why do I do this on Monday morning? Because I found that this is the lowest vibrational day of the week. It's probably one of the least favorite days, unless it's a holiday like it is today. So happy President's Day to you. And with every show, you got to have a little coffee, a little mocha, a little tea, because Metaphysical Mocha Mondays would not be Mocha Mondays without a little bit of coffee. So if you're just joining, good morning to you, good afternoon, good evening. We have a global listening audience, and love to do a little prospecting with you. So let's get into today's message. And I apologize, I am still a little under the weather. With a cold that I've just been getting over. Both my wife and I had it through Valentine's Day, so it made for a very romantic Valentine's Day because we were both sick. But I also want to let you guys know at 9:40 this morning, so that's Pacific Standard Time, so that's going to be 12:40 Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to be doing live readings through Best American Psychics. It's their 10-year anniversary. We are celebrating today with a live interactive. I'll be going for 20 minutes, so from 9:40 to 10 o'clock for 20 minutes, I'll be giving readings. So I'll put an invite. You can also go to the Intuitive Prospector page and get that invite link. It's kind of cool because it goes through your Facebook Messenger. And I'll try to put it on here in the link if I can. So let me just give some shout outs to who's joining me this morning, and then we'll get into the good stuff. We'll get into the topic, which is meditation tips for busy people. We all seem to be very busy, and I have found in my journey that meditation can really change your life. So good morning, Lisa. Good morning, Donette. Good morning, Susan. Jeannie, good morning. Let's see, Tina, good morning. Hey, Mark, good morning. I have my sister here, Joanne, watching. Well, good morning, Joanne. Thanks for hanging out. We'll try to get to a message to you at 8:30. That's the Prospecting Q&A after show. That's where I have a direct conversation with those that tune in, spiritual chats, readings, a community of just, like-minded individuals saying hi to each other and just celebrating the morning, celebrating life, celebrating being alive for this spiritual journey. So if you want to join me at 8:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 11:30 a.m. Eastern, Tina, that's where we'll do some spiritual prospecting and connect, all right? Thanks for being here. Hi, Paula. Hi, Sherry. Susan, thank you so much for sharing. Odith, good morning. Yolanda, good morning. Bernadette, good morning. Karen, hi. Hi, Sammy. Hi, Tamara. Ari, good morning. Family Day here in Canada. I love that. I almost want to celebrate Family Day versus President's Day right now. Good morning, Dana. Jody, good morning. Hi, Ellen. All right, guys, so I'm going to just turn off the comments for now because this show is about inspiration. Now, for those of you that meditate, congratulations. Every day you should be meditating. Take the time to disconnect so that you have the time to reconnect. And this morning during my meditations, I get up about 4:30, depending. I got up a little bit late. I got up at 5:30 because I'm just recovering from being sick. And so I took that extra hour of sleep to rest. And rest is actually a form of meditation to help relax and quiet the mind. But one of the quotes that I love when it comes to meditation is I like to say that meditation is the tongue of the soul and the language of the spirit. And your intuition is understanding the language of your spirit, the language of your soul. And the best way that I have found is to get connected to mind, body, and spirit is through the power of meditation. Now, there's a lot of ways to meditate. And this morning, I wanted just to give you some tips for those that are busy and on the go and have a lot going on. So with that, let's start a watch party. We're going to start a watch party, something new I'm doing on Facebook here, seeing if we can do a watch party. But I'm also going to give you your totem animal spirit for the week. I'm going to give you your numerology number for the week, and I'm going to give you your crystal prospecting stone for the week. So, again, the internet's being a little clunky this morning. It must not have gotten its coffee this morning. But, meditation tips that can be really helpful. I always say stop, pause, observe, take a breath, and find the magic in the moment. And when you find the magic in the moment, your observation, your awareness really can be enhanced and opened up. And, Eckhart Tolle teaches us that awareness is the greatest agent for change. So, one of the things that you can do, and how did I even get into talking to you here today? I was taking my graduate studies here at the University of Washington studying sports medicine, visualization, manifestation, meditations for the professional athlete, nothing to do with spiritualism. And it was through that course and through the graduate studies that it opened me up and it reintroduced me to meditation. Now I'd heard all up to that point about meditation and sitting in silence and how great meditation can be. And I just found that I was always so busy. And after I really took the time to start connecting in a way that allowed me to be still, it allowed me to become silent. The more and more I started to go deeper down that understanding, of an unseen world and getting into psychic sciences, into mediumship, into mindfulness, into understanding your own intuition. And one of the quotes that Albert Einstein his quote always stuck with me. Him and Nikola Tesla, two very smart gentlemen. He talked about that the most beautiful thing we can experience in the mysterious, it is the source of all true art and science. And Nikola Tesla, that's Albert Einstein that said that. And Nikola Tesla reminds us that if we want to unlock the secrets of the universe, we think in terms of energy and frequency and vibration, very much to how I'm connecting with you right now through this cell phone. It's working off energy. It's working off through a frequency. And Nikola Tesla was the founder of frequency. So without frequency, we wouldn't have our mobile smartphones today. And of course, you need the vibration, that ripple, my message that goes out, that resonates with you or maybe not resonates with you. But today we're talking about just tips, meditation tips for the busy person. And my mentor always taught me, and some of the masters talked about, if you're too busy, if you don't have 20 minutes to meditate a day, then you probably should be taking an hour. That means that your life is a little bit out of balance. It's too chaotic. Your focus is on maybe not the right things. And one of the things that I found in my meditative practice, now people think that you have to wear special, mala beads or wear certain clothes or sit in a certain position. No, meditation is whatever feels right to you and whatever is a way to disconnect from the chaos and the stresses of life, to balance mind, body, and spirit. And for me, I didn't always meditate until my spiritual practice started several years ago now. I guess it's been over 10 years. And now I don't go a day without meditation. And if I am not meditating, I find that I'm caught up in the minutia of society, the chaos, the media, judgment, opinion. And for those of us that become awake, we actually find ourselves pull away from that kind of stuff. So you can, what I talk about, going from no time to meditate to carving out and creating a space to meditate. One of the things that you can do, and everybody can do this, is just walk mindfully. And walking is one of the most relaxing exercises in the world. It's not high impact, but you can also ruin a good walk by thinking too much. You find, how many of you have been driving and you forgot that you were actually driving? You got to point A and point B, but your mind was so focused on what was going on that you actually forgot about some of the details of your driving. I know that I've done that before. But when you are, what I call Zen walking, that can just be a great way to interact with nature. Greatest teacher, greatest healer right behind me. That's why I do a lot of hikes and I do a lot of getting out into nature and experiences, Forest Fridays, Snowshoe Saturdays, because when you are Zen walking or if you're forest bathing, your connection is much more powerful than there's more energy in nature than all of the internet, as I like to say. Another thing that you can do, if for those of you that are busy and you need time to carve out some meditation space, do it while you're eating. Take some time to eat mindfully. Eating mindfully is one of the most wonderful things we can do for both body and mind. Now, for some of you, this may be the first time you've heard this about, well, how do I meditate while I'm eating? For example, today I have an apple with me. This apple is energy. It's full of life. Apple a day keeps the doctors away, as the saying goes. What you can do is while you're eating, put your focus into what's in front of you. Let the just day go away for just a second. Take a deep breath. Breath is great at distracting the mind. Take the bite because you're taking energy from something that's actually living. This grew on a tree and it was picked. Now it's here and it's going to give me nourishment. It's going to give me some flavor. It's going to give me some nutrition. So what you can do when you want to eat mindfully is just focus in on the food that you're eating and then also tasting the food and the experience and the blending of the food and taking your time to enjoy the food. A lot of us, I spent 8 years in the U.S. Coast Guard, and a lot of times we were, the saying would go, choke it down, taste it later. Because we were always, whether it's a search and rescue call, even at the firehouse when I was in the fire service for 5 years before my retirement, we'd be right in the middle of the meal and you'd be taking a bite, running to the rigs, getting on the engine, and tasting it later. So choke it down, taste it later. So mindful eating can be really great for just a quick pause, a quick way to meditate for those of you that are busy. It does seem that society is speeding up. We're getting faster and faster. Scientists have looked at, at time actually speeding up, and we're just becoming more and more. There's a lot going on in our lives. So walk mindfully, eat mindfully. One of the things that I like to do is I do during the day, I try to take a break. And now I've got a smartwatch, so I've got an iWatch here, and I've got a reminder. So we have the technology that can remind us to say, let's do a 3-minute breathing exercise. Let's create a space for 3 minutes, and let's just do an exercise where we count up our breaths and our inhalation, our exhalation, and also every morning I do Qigong, which is the study of your own energy, the feeling of your own energy, and it just means moving energy. It's really simple. It's how I pay attention to how I'm feeling. Now, my energy this morning is a little bit low because I am recovering from a cold and the touch of the flu. However, it's being mindful of how my body is because you're a physical being here, but you were an energetic spiritual being first having a human physical experience. And I always like to remind people that you're more than just a physical being. I teach this in my spiritual development group. For those that are in spiritual SDG, know this, I preach this all the time. You're physical, you're emotional, you're mental, and you're spiritual, and all of those combined create who you are at the cellular level. And the one thing I found fascinating, even at the cellular level, when you think in terms of energy and frequency and vibration and re-healing yourself, every 7 years, our cells break down. And every 7 years, so the number 7 has always been fascinating. I work with numerology as well. But the number 7 has so many spiritual aspects. But from a physiology, from an anatomy, and from a cellular level, every 7 years, our cells completely die and are recreated. So every 7 years, if you think about this, guys, we become a brand new being at the cellular level. Now we look in the mirror and think, well, 7 years, I've been on this planet I've been going around the sun for 47 years. We look the same. But at a cellular level, I want to just remind you that there's a lot going on, even just with, the cellular level of you becoming a new being every 7 years. So just think about that for a second. Sleep is always a good form of meditation. The Dalai Lama reminds us that sleep is the best meditation. They do find that when you are sleeping, the mind is more active than it is when it's awake, which I find very fascinating. So another quick tip, if you're busy and you're in that busy lifestyle and going with the corporate rat race or keeping up with the Joneses, as I like to say, for those of you that are on the awakened path, the shaking causes the awakening, and you find that you don't want to be in that rat race anymore, like myself. And now I love what I do with the shows, with my spiritual practice here in Seattle, my radio show, the different articles I write for different magazines. I now thoroughly enjoy that, but that wasn't always the case. And I found who I am through the power of meditation. So the power of meditation can also introduce you to who you are. Now, for those of you that have been following me for a while, I've shared this with you before, but when I was having my meditation practice incorporated, and I was really start to unfold and transform and understand that I'm much more than just physical Marc, I took a Myers-Briggs profile, and that really unlocked some doors for me. So, this is an inspirational show, inspirational messages for the week ahead. And just so you guys can see, my Myers-Briggs profile of the Intuitive Prospector is the Inspire. So when I took my Myers-Briggs profile, it's called the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator. I did this right after I started unlocking the doors of meditation and just different consciousness. So I would recommend all of you, take a Myers-Briggs, take some sort of profile, get a better understanding of who you are, because that's going to change how you interact with the world, your external world around you, and who you become as a person. So for me, I'm an ENFP. So I'm an extrovert. I use a lot of my intuition. I have a lot of feeling and a lot of perceiving. Now, you don't always have to be an extrovert. Sometimes I want to be an introvert and not always be out there. But that helped me to start carving out the work that I do today, inspiring people, working with people, helping people, whether it's the grieving process of losing a loved one through mediumship, whether it's helping someone that has a struggle in life through psychic abilities or clairvoyance or psychic sciences. And that's where I really started to unlock, and it really created my tagline: be inspired, inspire others, inspire before we expire. And that's why I'm here Monday morning talking with you for Metaphysical Mocha Mondays, giving you tips for meditation tips for the busy person, because we all are busy. But just a few things I'm sharing with you: walk mindfully, eat mindfully. If you find yourself standing in a line waiting for something, take a quick second. This is a great time saver for me. When you're standing in the queue, if I was in England, for any of my English colleagues and friends over there, if I was standing in the queue or waiting for the loo, I just take a quick second to look around me and observe. Is there something that I may not have noticed before? I love to people watch, and that's a great form of meditation. I take the bus to my day job, and on the bus I like to meditate and really just kind of put my headphones on and disconnect from everything. So meditation on the bus or in the car is a great way to, I would recommend you not drive and meditate because that is dangerous. But if you are if you're a passenger like on a bus, or you're being driven in an Uber or something, that's a great way to practice meditation for those that are on the go or too busy. Exercise is a form of meditation. Gardening is a form of meditation. Hiking is a form of meditation. There's even, there's certain tantra sexual things that you can get into with your partner that is a form of meditation. Energetic tantric, some of the things that we've talked about on Inspired Living Radio has really educated and opened my mind in knowledge of many forms of different meditations. Just watching TV. Sometimes we watch TV as kind of like a friend of mine called it Doritos TV. It's kind of just you kind of just clear the mind or rest the mind, and I'm sure a few of you watching today can relate. It's just noise. It's just to quiet the mind, because the mind is so busy, 50 to 60, 70,000 thoughts a day running through this supercomputer of ours. And so what you can do is, when you're watching TV, actually focus in on it. Take the time to see if it's actually beneficial to your energy and what you are. We are what we absorb, as I like to remind people. Is the show you watching a positive thing for you, or is it a negative thing for you? And just set aside and generally just set a favorite show that you like, and just set it aside and set the intent that you're going to focus on watching this television show. So energy always follows intent. I'm a big believer in intent and energy. Just taking the time to really listen. When you're working, work. Put your mind in the present moment. If there's things in the kitchen, like the coffee pot going, take a time just to listen to it percolate. If for those of you that have Alexa or Echo Pods, ask it to turn on Positive Living, where you can get spiritual tips now throughout 2019 for the rest of the year by opening up Positive Living. I have to say, with my cup of coffee for Valentine's Day, I got a Valentine's gift it's a espresso machine, so it's a really good coffee, and I get to like foam my milk now, and so my coffees have been upgraded for Metaphysical Mocha Mondays as of today. But just paying attention to your interactions with what's going on in your external environment. I always like to say, meditate, let the light of the heart engulf you, really go within. Let's see, I'm just trying to think. There's a quote that comes to my mind. It's from I'll go when I come across it. I had it here, and then it went away. So but I was thinking of like Ram Dass. Ram Dass tells us the quieter you become, the more you can actually hear. Rumi talks about the more silent and still you become, the more you can actually feel and hear. Charlie Chaplin, one of my favorite, actors, silent actor that had the ability to move people without words and only actions, talked about that we think too much and we feel too little. So those are just some of the quotes that I'm sharing with you this morning, some of my favorite ones. But, a lot of times we're so busy that we don't take the time to disconnect so we can reconnect. And you got to do it. If you think about it in life with your computer, you got to reset your computer. You got to turn your computer off. There's a time that everything doesn't need to be running. The same goes for you as a human. Having physical experiences is taking the time to really take a few minutes out of your day and pause, observe, breathe. How many of you, we unconsciously breathe until somebody reminds us, don't think of the pink elephant in the room, don't think about your breathing, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I am breathing. It's an unconscious, automatic action, and we don't think about that. So break out of your routines if you can. Getting into routines is great. We're creatures of habit, of course, but do a short exercise. Get out of your routine. Nothing gets our attention more than novelty. The problem is we fall into routine patterns and habits that lull us to sleep, myself included. And so I'm very mindful. Maybe in the morning eat something differently. Take a drive or take a different direction to work. Ride your bike to work. Meet someone new for lunch. These are all different things that you can incorporate into being mindful and a meditation practice, because meditation isn't always necessarily about sitting in silence and stillness and doing nothing, just listening to your thoughts. It can also be interactions with people. It can be interactions with your environment, interactions with nature. So this morning I thought I'd just share a few tips with you. For those that are really, really busy, if you want to learn more about the work I'm doing, you can go to marclainhart.com. You can internet search the Intuitive Prospector. I am going to put my YouTube library link right now in the comment section, if I can find the page. My Facebook page doesn't want to load quite yet. If it does, then I'll try to put that link. But if you subscribe to my YouTube playlist, I've got over 200 videos now. Metaphysical Mocha Mondays, 4 seasons of Inspired Living Radio and podcasts with amazing topics and authors. The book I'm reading right now is called Spiritual Adrenaline by Tom Shanahan. Great book. We just had a gentleman on last week talking about spiritual workout and what that means. Next week we have some awesome gentlemen that are tutors at the Arthur Findlay College that are going to be on talking about their book, Magician to the Mystic, which is a pathway of mediumship. So I'm looking forward to that. But head over to my YouTube library. Just look for Marc Lainhart, or you can catch me on Alexa now through Positive Living. And those are some ways that we can do some spiritual prospecting together for your own spiritual gold. And I also have a closed page called Soul Adventures. If you want to join that, please do so. Or Inspired Living Radio Facebook page, which is a closed page of inspired listeners. So great way to interact with me, and hopefully I can help you on your path. Like I said, be inspired, inspire others, inspire before we expire. So a couple things I want to leave you with here before we get into the Prospecting Q&A after show, which will follow immediately right after this show at 8:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Want to give you your crystal for this week. The stone is called Zozite. Zoisite. I always like to work with different crystals and stones for your spiritual journey. The stone itself, its rarity, it's often with the rubies. It comes from Austria, Tanzania, India, Russia, Sri Lanka, Kenya. So it comes out of that part of the world. The stone itself, though, its attributes of zoisite, it transmits negative energies into positive ones, and it connects to the spiritual realms. So for those of you that want to get the negative energy out, bring the positive energy in for your meditative state, for your meditation practice, and go deeper and connect to those spiritual realms, then I would recommend the zoisite stone. Again, spelled Zoisite. Let me grab a quick coffee here. So that's your prospecting stone of the week. If somebody wants to type it in the description field, please feel free to do so. I've got some awesome people that help me out from time to time, because I am a one-man show. I'm the producer, I'm the host, I'm the editor, I'm the director. So please feel free to type those in. Zoisite is your prospecting stone for this week. The numerology number for this week is 4. So this is the 4 is green, very same color as what I'm wearing today. But the 4 is about dedicated work, putting effort in and focusing on what you want. And the word itself is perseverance. So whatever is going on this week, really put your focus and intent into getting the work that you want to complete, whether it's a checklist, whether it's a to-do list, whether it's just feeling accomplished. You will feel accomplished if you persevere and put in some focused, dedicated work this week. That's what the 4 energy represents. And the green is all about the heart, and it's all about healing. As far as the totem animal for this week, it's going to be the zebra. So if you see the zebra, whether you see it in real life, whether you see it in a movie, whether you see it in a magazine, I always remind people that there's signs, symbols, synergy, and synchronistic events that take place daily in our journey. And the zebra is about black and white. And if you are an all or nothing thinker, if you only see things as black and white, and there are some people in this world that see things only as black and white, if you see the zebra, it's reminding you that this seeing in the black or white can limit your choices and flexibility. I always like to say, be like bamboo. Bamboo is very strong, very flexible, and it's very hard to break. So whenever you see the zebra, regarding the conflict that you might be having with someone, it's better to work towards a compromise and to, versus staying in that right versus wrong kind of mentality. If our politics could do this, and instead of a zero-sum game where nobody wins and people come together and compromise, we might have a much better society than what we do now. But the zebra is just telling you about flexibility. Everything is not always black and white. There is some gray areas in what we do. And it's just a reminder for that. So, want to thank you for hanging out with me today. I'm going to be back here in about 1 minute for the Prospecting Q&A after show. So get ready, get your questions ready. We'll have a spiritual chat, do some readings. I won't be on very long because I do have the Best American Psychics 10th year anniversary. I've been a member since 2015, so I guess this would be my fourth year of being with Best American Psychics. And at 9:40 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 12:40 Eastern Standard Time, I will be live through Best American Psychics for 20 minutes. We'll be having conversations. I don't know what we're going to do. It's fun. That's kind of the fun of doing it. So thank you for hanging out with me today. I hope you have a great week. I hope that you're inspired, and I hope that you go out and inspire others. And remember, just some tips. Just mindful eating, mindful walking, being in the magic of the moment can really help to incorporate a meditative practice into your very busy schedule in life. So take the time to disconnect so that you have time, and create time so you can reconnect to what's important to you in your journey. So I want to thank you for hanging out with me this morning. Again, you can head over to marklainhart.com. You can catch me every Wisdom Wednesday through the internet, through our internet show, Inspired Living Radio, which is at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 3 p.m. Eastern, through the Om Times Radio Network. And you can get all this information at marklainhart.com. It's kind of your one-stop shop, if you will. So have a great rest of your day. Dare to dream, dare to explore, dare to live. And until our next soul adventure together, be kind, caring, compassionate. And I'll see you next Monday for another episode of Metaphysical Mocha Mondays. Take care, everybody. Namaste.